Ettore Zappi was a close friend and associate of Carlo Gambino. He was active for over 65 years, amassing great wealth and largely avoiding public exposure in jail. This is his story. Ettore Zappi was born in 1904 or 1905, depending on the source, in Naples, Italy. He settled in South Brooklyn by the 1920s. Zappi had already been involved with the mob and seems to have been part of the early conflicts and shootouts in that era. He became affiliated at some point with Salvatore D'Aquila and Carlo Gambino. He had an arrest record by the early 1920s for assault and robbery, possession of a gun, felonious assault with a weapon, and liquor law violations. He was active in bootlegging and was charged in New Jersey for prohibition law violations, but seems to have avoided a jail term. By the mid to late 1940s, he became affiliated in labor union activity. He actually became an official of Teamsters Local 854, where he thrived for many years. Local 854 was a television, radio, instrument, business machines, and furniture manufacturers, drivers, workers, warehousemen, and employees union, International Brotherhood of Teamsters, independent. One of his biggest targets for unionization was the Castro Convertible Company. Zappi organized it and in 1957 took over ownership of the company. In spite of Local 854 being one of the smaller locals, and because of its stranglehold on several key companies in several industries, it still became a valuable asset to the Gambino family. By this time, he and Carlo Gambino became very close friends and associates. With Gambino's rise to the boss's seat, Zappi was made a Capo di Decina, presiding over a large crew which included Frankie Dapolito, Natale Richichi, Frank the Wop Gagliardi, his son Anthony Tony Zappi, and others. By the early 1960s, he had bought lots and built beautiful oceanfront homes in Massapequa, Long Island, for himself and his compadre, Carlo Gambino. As next-door neighbors, their relationship grew even closer, and it could be argued that Ettore Zappi rose to become Gambino's top capo and advisor, actually serving more in the capacity of a de facto consigliere than capo per se. Joseph N. Gallo had the official title of consigliere, but Zappi had the boss's ear nonetheless and counseled Gambino often. Gambino respected Zappi's opinion very much because Zappi had an eye for legitimate business, which Gambino respected. By the mid-1960s, Zappi bought a winter home in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, where he started spending more time. He was given supervision at one point of Gambino members in South Florida, in addition to his New York crew. He became a partner in the T&D drive-in movie theater in Miami, and as the 1970s approached, a fellow by the name of Bobby Rubino came to Zappi with an idea for a baby back rib restaurant. The rest is history. Zappi became a silent partner in Bobby Rubino's ribs throughout the East Coast. His grandson Frank Galgano was installed to operate several Bobby Rubinos in Florida. Zappi started spending more and more time in Florida, leaving the day-to-day operations to his trusted acting capo, Frank Dapolito. Dapolito had been installed as business manager of Local 854, while Tony Zappi became secretary-treasurer. All through the 1960s to 1980s, both would work in tandem to maintain the cash cow that was 854, which was based in Valley Stream for many years. An employee of this local and friend of Anthony Zappi was the doomed John Favara, who in 1980, while driving home, accidentally hit and killed John Gotti's young son Frank. Favara would end up getting kidnapped after leaving work for the day at Castro Convertible and was never seen again. By the 1980s, with the federal government's cleanup and purging of all mob elements from labor unions, Frank Dapolito and Anthony Zappi would resign their union posts before being officially kicked out by the feds. Frankie Dapp was hired by Joseph Curcio, a family associate and owner of several multi-million-dollar bus companies in Brooklyn that held huge contracts with the city to bus school children. Dapolito seamlessly moved into the very companies that his union local had represented, making millions more for the Gambino family in the process. One of Zappi's protégés was Robert D.B. DiBernardo. In the late 1960s, DiBernardo entered the pornography rackets. This semi-legitimate business became a multi-million-dollar windfall for the mob. Zappi gave DiBernardo his blessing to expand and helped him with cross-country distribution, providing the Gambino family clout and backing. Zappi's son Anthony was put in to supervise this operation for his father and Carlo, in addition to his union duties. Tony Zappi actually was indicted in California in approximately 1970 or 71 on pornography charges. He eventually beat the case, but it showed the involvement and profit potential in that Terry Zappi would involve his own son in this activity. DiBernardo, of course, thrived for many years, making millions for himself and the Gambinos. After Terry Zappi's relocation and semi-retirement to Florida, DiBernardo was transferred directly under Paul Castellano, where he thrived. Castellano viewed him as a favorite. Unfortunately, after Castellano's murder, new boss John Gotti allowed the heavy-handed, greedy, and jealous Sammy Gravano to oversee DiBernardo and his activities for the family. Clocking his money, overall wealth, and family influence, Gravano badmouthed and maneuvered to set up DB for the kill. After DiBernardo was shot in the head at Gravano's Brooklyn construction office, Sammy the Bull, quote-unquote, inherited DB's rackets and its subsequent revenue. Ettore Zappi was active for over 65 years, amassing great wealth and largely avoiding public exposure in jail. By all accounts, he was a highly respected and major player who kept a very low-key profile and kept violence to a minimum. He was from a bygone era. Ettore Terry Zappi died in Florida in 1986. And that's the end of our story on Gambino Powerhouse Capo Ettore Terry Zappi. We hope you enjoyed it. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. And be sure to visit us at thenewyorkmafia.com to read more organized crime stories. And just like the movies, here's a little bonus for you about one of Zappi's crew members, Natale Richichi. Natale Richichi was listed by the FBI, New York City Police Department, and in multiple U.S. Senate hearings as a top capo regime in the old Gambino family of New York City. Born in 1916, he was closely associated with both Carlo Gambino and his close confidant, Capo Ettore Terry Zappi. He was a longtime soldier in Zappi's crew until being elevated to a capo post himself after Zappi's death in 1986. Richichi was active over the years in bootlegging, gambling, shylocking, extortion, and smuggling. In later years, he was tasked with overseeing pornography rackets on behalf of the Gambino family. He moved for some years to Las Vegas, Nevada, where he became the contact man and point man for Cosa Nostra figures visiting Sin City. He was a highly respected mob figure. And that's truly the end of this video. Thank you for watching. Until next time.